Guys got it? All right, hard work on three, sprint to the next spot. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hard work. Sprint to the next spot. Don't walk. Get there, get there, get there, get there.
Do you feel like freshmen are showing up more or less prepared to become good defensive players?
I think probably more. Freshmen in general are more prepared than ever because, first of all, physically, a lot of them are different than they used to be. I think there's a lot of guys right now that physically are incredible athletes and physically able to handle what's going to be put in front of them. I also think there's a competitiveness that comes through some of the AAU shoe company stuff where guys are playing against better players more often. That puts them in a better position to be ready.
What do you think the things that you're looking for most that they have to improve as freshmen defensively?
It's still more times than not. It's off the ball defense. It's not just guarding the ball. It's what happens away from the ball when your man doesn't have the ball, and now you've got to be a team defender. Positioning, recognition, anticipation. I think that's more of a challenge for guys than just guarding what's in front of them. They've been doing that most of their lives. They can adjust to that. But handling the different schemes you're going to face. Maybe it's playing ball screen defense a couple different ways. There's a combination of things that whether it's some scheme that you got to deal with or just basic off-the-ball defense that is more challenging for guys.
Who has showed up the most ready to defend for you in your career?
Oh, boy, most ready to defend in my career. As a freshman. Wow, that's a long time. I'm trying to think. You know what? I think Chase Hunter, who's with us right now, is a guy who's in that discussion. Athletically very gifted, willingness to defend, very high level, and speed to do the things necessary to be good at it, and also a guy who I think is beginning to understand what we're trying to get done and seems to have a pretty good grasp on it. I would put Chase he'd be up there.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you kind of do like a little roster breakdown here. From your veterans there now with Amir and like Clyde and all of them that have been there, what are your kind of expectations for them just kind of being those role guys and leadership there?
Yeah, I think Amir's clearly had to take a step forward for us this year in terms of leadership, being our oldest kind of returning player, especially with the injury to Clyde Trapp. And us going to the World University Games, Amir was the guy that guys looked to and really counted on. And I think he's done a really good job with that. I think Clyde will, when he continues to get back from the injury and his health is where we want it to be, I think he'll be a guy because he's a very bright guy. He's been through some wars. He knows how I like things done. We just got to wait and be patient with him. And I think that's important. And then, to be honest with you, we have a lot of young guys. And so a guy like John Newman and Hunter Tyson and Trey Jemison are really the next most experienced guys in our program. And those are sophomores.
Yeah.
And they're all guys that are pleasers, if you will. They try to do exactly what we want them to do. I think they appreciate how we do things at Clemson. They embrace our culture and how we work and what we're all about. And they lead both by example, which I think they do an outstanding job of. But now as sophomores, I think they're beginning to realize that they've got to play a little more of a vocal have a vocal part to this team. And there's a responsibility there they've got to continue to work to get better at. But I think they understand it, and I've seen a lot of growth from the World University Games to the practices this year, so excited for that.
That was kind of my next question with John there. Obviously, he got some experience last year, and now he's kind of filling that role of being one of the go-to guys there. As well as now Hunter now coming in. He had a great summer, showcased what he was able to do. What have you seen from those two?
Well, I like both guys a lot. You know, Hunter's a guy that makes shots for you. Has continued to put on weight, get stronger. He's got another step that he needs to take in that department, but I think his development is coming like we would expect it. He had some really good games overseas, and I think his confidence is growing. And I think John's the same way. Those were both guys that they got some time as freshmen, but it was a little hit and miss. Some of it based on their consistency, some of it based on situation. Now they're getting time because they've earned it, and we need them to take that next step. And I think they're embracing it as they continue to play well. More things are being asked of them, and they're doing a good job of kind of embracing that. And you know, they're both terrific young men that really want to do what's right, and have a lot of respect for players in our program because of how hard they work every day.
Yeah. What about the freshmen there? Kind of impact that you're kind of hoping for, expecting for, or what you've seen early?
Well, they're all going to be thrown in it a little probably quicker than most years.
Yeah.
Just based on our lack of depth and experience. But I like them. I really like them a lot. Chase Hunter is a tremendous athlete that just keeps getting better and better as a basketball player. Working with him really on his shooting, and it's improving, and he's got tremendous speed and can create for himself and others. And I really like the way he's been a willing defender. Alamir Dawes, kind of a competitive guard that has a lot of confidence and plays with a little bit of swagger and can change speeds a little bit. Another guy that guards the ball hard and has just played a lot of competitive basketball and you know, learning how we want to do things and learning our system. So there's a lot on him, but at the same time, I think he loves that kind of challenge. And then Alex Hemingway is kind of an under-recruited guy that we think can make shots. You know, and when he gets stronger, he's going to be a real factor in games because he's got a quick release. He's probably a little better athlete than people realize. He's got a good confidence about him, and again, he can make shots.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, obviously, you know, being the Carolinas in your backyard and all that stuff there, you've really kind of made a target and tried to really go after some recruits, make it a priority for you.
Yeah.
What is it about the region, the states, of just the talent level and everything like that? What do you see from that?
I mean, obviously, I have a lot of respect for the coaches in North Carolina and a lot of experience there. You know, having been at Wilmington for 12 years, there's still a bunch of guys that I know, and I appreciate the way those guys go about their business. I think there's a lot of really good coaches in the state, and South Carolina is beginning to get better and better as well. I think, as you've seen with more players coming out of our state, more better players coming out of our state, there's more guys that are becoming basketball players. Basketball is getting a little bit more exposure in South Carolina and getting better. And North Carolina basketball has always been a big deal, a major priority. And so we have some good contacts in North Carolina. We love recruiting the state. We know kids up there love the ACC. And it's very competitive basketball. So that's certainly a big part of our breadbasket, recruiting those two states, and that's not going to change as long as I'm the coach.
I think Clyde Trapp, watching him last year, I saw a tremendous jump in his improvement from his freshman season, shoot, everything. He just, what do you, from the sophomores now like Tyson? What do you, have they improved significantly?
Yeah, they have, and I think John, as much as anything, is just continuing to work on his all-around skill set. Like, he's one of those guys that could do some things, but maybe wasn't quite as confident in his own ability, and just needed a little seasoning and needed a little bit more skill work and development, and just in terms of like reps with shooting, ball handling, and decision making. And I really think that started to, you started to see some growth from him in Italy when, you know, Marquise Reed isn't here anymore. You know, Elijah Thomas isn't here. Shelton Mitchell's not here. You know, when we create a situation, you got to close out. You got to go make a play for us. And him just beginning to embrace that, accept that, and want that was something that I think we saw him grow in Italy. He's starting to make more plays for us. Hunter Tyson, I think, is a guy who just needs more strength, and as he gets that, he's going to be a good player because he can shoot the ball. He's a better rebounder than people realize. He's not afraid of contact. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there. And so it was something we identified in the recruiting process. And I think he's just, with those two guys, it's about confidence and just kind of getting the opportunity. And that's starting to help him. Trey Jemison is just continuing to work on his reps and just becoming a more complete basketball player, just getting more comfortable physically. He's obviously there. He's a competitive guy. He's a great team guy. He wants to win for the team. He's all about the team. He just defensively he keeps getting better. He's starting to rebound the ball with the ferocity that we expect. And I think some of it's just going to be opportunity for sophomores that you get as a sophomore that you didn't get as much as a freshman. And then some of it with a couple of those guys is a little bit more confidence that comes from knowing that you make some big time plays and you're like, wow, I thought I could do this, but now I've done it a few times. Now I need to try to work to get to where I can do it consistently. And that's the next big hurdle for these guys.
Guys got it? So that hard work on three, sprint to the next spot. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hard work. Sprint to the next spot. Don't walk. Get there, get there, get there, get there.